We have a total of 8 wholesale companies around the country that work for us.
I studied accounting because I was thinking I wanted to go into business.
If there's no insurance, we don't want it. And that's just the way it is right now.
Having life insurance on me.
Yeah.
I don't work. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
They will cost you much less than all of your mistakes, your late fees, and your penalties.
I suspect your Christian life plays a role in how you got to insurance.
So far, so good. And so I haven't had any issues. I'm definitely at the tail end of all the funk that everybody else.
But everybody, we've had it too. It's like, not now. We're out.
Yeah, we're good now.
But we had like
it was like over 2 weeks. The eldest had the flu, and then the following week, she had the flu. The second had the flu. The baby had the flu. I had strep, and then when we were, and then after the second week was over, and we thought everything was going to go back to normal, the baby was still sick, except then he had a cold, so he had croup cough, and she had to take him to the hospital one night because he wasn't sleeping. She was worried about his breathing. He was okay, but oh my gosh,
that's rough.
So
when you have kids, it's never. We're all sick at once. At the same time, it's like one kid gets sick, then you give it 24, 48 hours, the next one gets sick.
You know,
so it's just like a domino.
There's a yin and yang there, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm glad they're not all sick. Then I have to all this sickness.
Yeah.
But then if they're not all sick, then it lasts so much longer.
Then it's been 2 weeks, and you're like, when are we done?
I've got a lot of teenagers and a lot of adults, and I got a boatload of kids in my martial arts school, and it is,
yeah.
And it's like, we've got a huge gymnasium. That's the positive thing. We're not stuck in a room, and everybody's running, and I'm training and pull-ups and push-ups, and they're, I'm like, well, what is work it out of you?
It's funny.
Sweat, get all the toxins
Exactly.
out.
That's there's a thing, I think. There,
Where we go to church, it's very silent during the mass, and it's funny because during the winter months, it's like all you can hear.
Yes, coughing. Someone's kid hacking.
You can hear it. So I think I told you about, as a word of encouragement or suggestion, our pastor has been going through. So my pastor is in the Southern Baptist Convention, and our colleges all over the world. Mm-hmm. Louisville happens to be the flagship. It's a 200-year-old institution. Mm-hmm. And he's the head of the translation of the New Testament. So I've got this really geeky, super smart bookworm of a pastor speaking. And he's been my pastor for 26 years. And he has been going through the book of Revelation. Revelation given to John on the island of Patmos, where he was exiled to. And I've been to Bible college and in the ministry, and I've read lots of commentaries on the book of Revelation. For the first time in my Christian life, he is going through it so thoroughly. It'll take about 9 months.
Yeah.
Every Sunday morning. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't believe I never knew that. And it's so.
Well, there's so much to unpack.
It makes
in the whole Bible, let alone that one book.
and he's going to Daniel and Ezekiel and Isaiah, and where it's cross-referenced, and it's like it's common. I don't want to say it's common sense. He's putting it out there like cookies on a tray, and because John's describing Jesus like eyes of flaming fire, feet of bronze, and my brain's putting together this like, wow. And he said, that's not what it means. He said, eyes like flame of fire is his wisdom. Bronze of feet is his strength and his stability. And I'm like, oh. John, back then, they were very descriptive with their language. And people back then understood that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what he means. Mm-hmm. He's not building a monster.
Yeah.
He's being descriptive and describing who Christ is. And eyes of flaming fire, all-knowing and everything. White hair, all wisdom. Back then, white hair was wisdom. Not many people lived to be real old.
Right.
And so it was like, ooh, that is a wise woman or a wise man. Anyway, in the letter to the 7 churches, I had no idea. But it was like all those churches got all of those letters that were sent to all the other churches.
Yeah.
Yeah, the church of Petamus got the church of Tyre, got the church of Smyrna. And I was like, I didn't know that. So anyway, it's just really amazing to listen. And for the first time in my Christian life, I am gathering so much information in the book of Revelation. So
That's awesome.
if y'all ever get a chance, YouTube Nathan O. Baptist. This week's sermon was super convicting for me as a Christian to really tighten the screws down in my Christian life, to even live more for him.
Yeah.
And so it's just beautiful. So
That is beautiful.
yeah, it's really, yeah.
Well, I suspect your Christian life plays a role in how you got to insurance. Is that
It's
accurate?
very specific. It's exactly like bullseye.
All right.
I mean, because I was going into the Navy SEALs. I had went through their tests. My ASVAB was really high, and I can't believe that. I was like, really? Me? Are you sure you got the right guy? But it was my mechanical aptitude that was near 100, and I do insurance anyway. So, I was getting ready to sign in September. In August, a friend invited me to church, and I went, and I just was like, wow, listen to this guy unfold God's word. And it just really, it pivoted my entire Christian life and walk to where I was like, I made a decision to accept Christ into my life, like as an adult. And I was like, at 24 years old. And then I was like, I really felt he wanted me to go into the ministry. And I was like, I think like it was very opposite things there. And I was sitting at a desk, and I was like, I'm going crazy. I was working in engineering, and I was like, I gotta do something. Going Navy SEAL sounds good to me. Jumping out of helicopters, planting mines on submarines. That sounds a lot more enjoyable than sitting in this office. So that was my plan. Ended up going into the ministry, and I went to Bible college. I went back to college, started all over right after I got married, and in college, working, having kids, and life was very busy.
Yeah.
And then I'll make this really fast because it does connect right to insurance. I was on the shy end. Didn't like to talk much. And
You didn't like to talk much back then?
I know.
You do it easily now.
Yes, and I didn't like to talk in front of people. And just the way I was. In the ministry, put me in front of people. And people were, after I got out of college and started working in ministry, then I had to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. A death, and then from the death, I had to go to a wedding and smile, and then to birth through a baby and smile, and then all sorts of situations, and it was the greatest time of my life. I enjoyed it. It was beautiful. I knew I was like, I'm doing God's work. And a friend of mine said, look, why don't you get into insurance? And I was like, he said, flexibility. I said, okay, yeah, that'll work. Because I was going to go back into engineering. But I had to take care of kids.
Yeah.
They're sick. Somebody's got to take care of them. So I went into insurance, and I found out I've got a knack at this. Like, I'm not a great salesperson. I just feel like I'm a decent representative. And I'm honest, and I believe strongly in the products that I offer. And I was like, this is working for me. And then an even more beautiful shift than I ever could have imagined. my insurance agency puts me in front of so many people. Atheists, Muslims, the lost. And even Jesus said, I'll leave the 99 to go get the one. It's not his Father's will that any should perish, but all come to repentance. So I probably pray with at least 5 or 6 customers a week. They're talking to me because, like, Mr. Maupin, my mom died. We got to sell the house. I can tell they're grieving. I said, is it okay if I pray with you? I'm like, oh, yes, please. And I spend time with them, praying for their comfort and peace through the Lord, and that the Holy Spirit would guide them through their thoughts through all these difficult times, and the people around them, give them wisdom. And so last year, our church gained an additional 14 members because of just me sharing the gospel of truth.
That's awesome.
And praying with people in my insurance agency. And so some of them were already Christians, and they just called and said, you just can't stop talking about your church body and your friends there. And we got some friends, but I was like, our youth group is 150 strong, and they got their own worship team. I said, they are on fire for God. So, and another youth from my martial arts school, can I go to church with you? And so we're starting to take him. But anyway,
that's awesome. Insurance
has opened up the door to people, and a door that if I was in the ministry, I wouldn't have. Because when I was in the ministry, I was in charge of the administrative stuff at church, and I basically went to the church.
Right.
And went to work.
You're preaching to the choir.
So Jesus said, go to the highways and byways and compel them that my Father's house may be full. So I'm able to speak into people's lives now. So yes, the ministry led me into insurance, and insurance is my ministry.
I was going to be like, so now insurance is your ministry. That's how God's using you.
It is, Ruth Ann. So that's the long version. It's a little bit longer if I want, but
no, that's great. I mean, I tell people when for those listening,
are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Our intro, I think, is going to be your comments on the Book of Revelation. So, but for those listening, Joe and I are in a networking group called B&I together. And when I tell people about you, I tell them, he's not a salesman. Like he might talk about his products really well, but he's not he didn't get into insurance because he has a sales personality. It's like he will actually read your policy, and he knows how you're covered, and he can then actually give you a policy that fits what you need.
So on that point, I told somebody that said, I know so many really good salesmen, and I said, and I envy them some because that's what they do. Mm-hmm. They build that book quickly, and that's not me. And I am not high pressure. I just don't. And so our greatest growth has been from referrals, Aaron, like you. Mm-hmm. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. It's easy. Not everyone in every group that you're ever in that you want to send business to, it's not like every single person you always feel like you can sell it easily for them. But I'm just kind of like, I'm like, if you need insurance, go talk to this guy. He's going to get you covered.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. On a topic that we haven't really breached is, insurance is, there's 2 basic categories. There's property, and there's various buckets there to cover, but there's also liability. There's various buckets there of insurance to cover on those various risks. But we have, because I started what they call a scratch agency, meaning I was my first customer.
Yeah.
I got my car insurance. Mom and Dad, please, could I get yours? And they said, maybe. One of my brothers, he held off for like 5 years. He's like, I'm making sure this, you're going to do this. I did. So I've been in business. We're going to celebrate our 20th year.
That's awesome.
For my insurance agency. I started in 96 in life insurance, but then got into the property and casualty in the year 2000. And so then started my own agency in 2006. So we're really excited about that. We're going to have a big get together in a new office space, invite all of our clients, and celebrating a big 20th.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. But because I started the scratch agency, I was what you would call literally very hungry for business. Mm-hmm. And
maybe I had a little hungry.
Yeah, and hungry because I didn't have enough money sometimes. Phone bill or food, I think I'll take food this month. Yeah. So it was funny. It wasn't funny at all. It is now. It wasn't then. My phone got cut off like 3 times, and I was like, turn it back on. I'll sell my toolbox or something. And I can respect business owners that start from nothing because I did. And I had a hard time. Yeah. So
you had extra pressure, it sounds like.
Yeah. I had 3 kids, and that's something else. And so, but it caused me to walk through doors that other agents maybe didn't have to go through. Mm-hmm. Meaning, somebody would call me and say, Joe, I need to insure a submarine. And I was like,
let me figure that out.
I got to figure that out. Yeah. Let me see here. I don't know how to, but I think I know somebody that does. Mm-hmm. And so in the insurance world, we have the standard insurance market. Like we may go to Liberty Mutual or Travelers or Safeco or Hartford or whoever. And then if none of those standard markets will accept it, we go to what's called a wholesale groups, mm-hmm. and they are worldwide. So that caused me to end up getting licensed in 22 states, including the U.S. Virgin Islands, because people said, Joe, I've got investment properties, and we are in multiple states. Can you insure something in Michigan, in New York, South Carolina, and Florida, and Texas? Yeah. And I just said yes before I really knew if I could or not. I said, yeah, I can do that. And so it was maybe a little bit of a fib, but I was like, I'll figure it out. Right, yeah. And we did. We got licensed and contacted our carriers, and they were like, yes, we're licensed in all these states. Are you? Yes, we are. Mm-hmm. And so it really opened up a lot of doors. So when you send me somebody, mm-hmm. or somebody else does, maybe it's a complicated ministry or nonprofit that your standard companies won't take. Mm-hmm. We are able to open doors that many, I don't want to say most, but many agencies aren't familiar with. Mm-hmm. And just due to me being desperate to make money, I knocked on all those doors in the beginning portions of my agency.
Yeah.
And when I first started. And now those doors are wide open for us. We have a total of 8 wholesale companies around the country that work for us. The last church that we insured, not the last one we insured, but one we insured last year, they were without insurance. The bill got lost in the mail. Something happened. Anyway, they got canceled. Their current agency couldn't insure them. This is a congregation of hundreds of people. This is a $4 million building with no insurance. And the pastor was very upset and scared. And so they contacted us. Another agency said, we can't do it, but maybe Joe Maupin Insurance can, which is the name of my agency. I know it's a very clever name, but that's all I had then. So that's the name we're stuck with for now. And so we reached out to all of these wholesalers, and it was no, because we'd already checked our standard companies, and they said no. I said, please, it's a church. It's God's house, God's people. They don't have any claims. They said, no. If there's no insurance, we don't want it. And that's just the way it is right now. So we looked for 6 months. I went to a meeting, met a new wholesaler located in Florida, and they said, we do churches. And I said, churches without insurance? And he said, yeah, we got a carrier over in Europe that will do this.
Nice.
And I said, well,
I got someone for you.
I got somebody for you. We sent the application in. It was approved in a week, and that church has insurance today. Now, our plan, 1 year from the day they got it, then we'll be able to look
For better rates.
for better rates.
Yeah.
It was more expensive, about 20% more, but they're insured.
Yeah.
So we took good care of them.
That's awesome. And you've actually overlapped with a lot of my clients before we even met, or like really it was like around the time we met. It was like I processed a bill payment to you for a family renewal project.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was visiting the BNI group, and I was visiting with Ben Norton.
Oh, yeah, Ben and Jim.
And Jim, yeah. And so you stood up and said something about helping a school that needed better coverage get covered. And I was like, there was something else that you said within the context that I was like, he's talking about Holy Angels Academy.
Yeah. That was, I didn't know if I could insure that, but my team, we weekly get together in prayer, and I lead them, and we ask the Lord to give us guidance and wisdom, and to try to put ourselves in our client's place.
Mm-hmm.
And our business can get it can get a little bumpy. People are upset with bills, and it can be a little hard on my team when people are calling upset. And I always pray, because I sent out a verse to the group text we were on when y'all had asked me to do the podcast. Philippians 4, 6, and 7 says notice the contrast of the word nothing and everything. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything. So I have to remind myself of this every day, okay? Because I get anxious or worried or concerned or I'm stressing. But God tells us to be anxious for nothing. He said, but in everything, with prayer and supplication, this is key, with thanksgiving. So we always give thanksgiving to him, even when we're stressing.
Absolutely.
And then after we've given thanksgiving to him, he said, let your request be made known unto me, and I will give you a peace that passes the comprehension of this world, and I will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. That is a beautiful promise. He didn't say maybe, if, and, or, but he said, just do this. So I encourage any listeners and you all and me to make sure, and I pray with my team, it's like always quote scriptures, because this is God's promises. This is the truth that we have. God said, count every man a liar, yea, but count God true. So we can always depend on God. He loves us. He loves us so much he gave us his son. Absolutely. That's huge. So we have prayer in our office, and it's optional. I said, hey, if you want to pray, come on in here. And all of them are like, yeah, sure. So they come in, we have a good time of prayer, and I really believe that the Lord is watching over our clients. Mm-hmm. He's watching over our agency, and we just try to be this little light in Spencer County, USA.
I'll admit I don't. Now we are virtual from each other, but I'll admit we don't pray routinely, or it happens every once in a while with maybe a Catholic specific client or Christian specific client. We don't pray routinely with our team, but it is really nice. I think that this is a similar overlap with insurance and accounting, is that we are actually helping our clients.
Yeah, it's
not to say that there's lots of industries that help their clients in a really sincere way. And one of the benefits of that is bookkeeping and insurance are one of them, is that you do get to help bring a lot of peace of mind to people.
It's huge.
That otherwise are stressed or upriver without a paddle, and they're just not sure what they can do. And it is nice that you feel that you can incorporate your faith in that way. It's not just you're not just trying to put, going.
I'm not trying to just make a buck every day.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You're right. And on that same note that you're talking about, you're right, because for many years, one of my biggest stressors was I liked accounting. I took business accounting in high school, in college, business law, and I have no problem with math. I'm good at math. When you're building a business, your mind tends to pivot into personnel, growth,
Operations.
your customers. Yeah, operations. Thank you. And I needed a bookkeeper. I needed a good CPA. And I need a good team around me. That way, it removes that from up here and gives it over to somebody like you, a professional that does do that. And that is in your wheelhouse. And that way I can focus on my operations and I don't have to, in January and February, just close and lock my door for a week and get all my accounting together for my taxes, which is what I did every year. So I need 4 days, don't bother me.
Right. Exactly.
And then that 4 days, I'm not working, I'm not doing this. If I am, I'm very distracted. So good point. We need each other.
Yeah.
Just find good professionals. And I was just speaking to somebody the other day, and I said, you need a bookkeeper. And they said, yeah, how much are they? I said, let me tell you how much they are.
Yeah.
I said, they will cost you much less than all of your mistakes, your late fees, and your penalties.
Absolutely.
And he said, yeah, you got a point. So I might have a
And
really
the
good
stress.
referral for, and stress.
Yeah.
It's stress. And working way too late, right?
Yeah.
So that, hopefully I got another referral for you, buddy.
There we go. Yeah, when you said you started out and you had all these incentives to make sure you can make ends meet. When we started Bonaventure Bookkeeping, so we started February of 2020. And so 1 month later, the whole world tried to blow itself up. But in the meantime, we did have some savings, and number one was on the way. We were coming up on 1 year of marriage, and so number one, referencing the first child, not the number 1 year of marriage. And it was just it was just at a point where it seemed logical. I studied accounting because I was thinking I wanted to go into business. I had my a very good friend's dad was successful in insurance, and my grandfather was successful in the wholesale business. And I asked them, I was that guy that was like, yeah, I want to study business. Yeah. And they're like, you should study accounting because you'll know more about business in accounting than anywhere else. So I was like, deal. But then I ended up becoming an accountant. And so I've merged the two. I was like, okay, we're going to start an accounting business. I had one client, so it was more than $0 in revenue. And I was like, I'm jumping ship. I got it. And paid for Cobra insurance and maintain our policy for a few months until the baby was born. And then got on Christian Healthcare Ministries after that. But
yeah, that's the insurance I've got.
Yeah.
I think we spoke about that.
They're good.
They're fantastic.
They're great. I always tell people, and I have, sorry to segue out there, but we have had other friends who use different health shares, and I feel like they've had so many problems. And we've had Christian Healthcare Ministries since the month that our daughter was born, and
been fantastic.
They've been amazing. And so I'm like, even when we've talked about do we want to switch or whatever, we never do it. We're just like, no, we're just going to say they've been good to us, so we're just going to keep it.
Christian Healthcare Ministry we're going to do a quick commercial for them.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and
maybe I'll put my referral link in the description of this YouTube video.
I just had major back surgery in January, and yes, I'm doing wonderful. And yes, they're paying for all of it minus $1,000.
Yeah.
I'm like,
there you go.
And then when I do go to the doctor and I pay out of pocket, it's still less because a cash payer apparently pays less than
cash pay. Yeah. So I got the bill for my surgeon cash pay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Top surgeon. Top. Because I got to pick my own surgeon.
Yeah.
So for back surgery. And I think for maybe foot surgery or something, they may pivot you somewhere else. But something as personal, intimate, and very serious as your spine, I said, this is who I've been going to, and this is what's happening. They said, you just go. And it was, I got the bill for the surgeon. It was
Please, I want to know.
$1,315.
For cash
pay.
I mean, I'll pay for that.
I was expecting 30 grand.
Yeah.
Okay. The guy's wealthy and he deserves it. He's great. He did a good job on my back. I'm almost back to brand new and the surgery was January 6th. And I'm like, my recovery rate is super fast. I'm super glad. But anyway, Christian Healthcare Ministries, it is going as cash pay, and it's
So they covered that $300.
yeah. I had to get an MRI. Okay, this is insurance.
Yeah.
Right. I had to get an MRI, and if I went to the hospital and did what they said had been $2 or $3 grand, I went to a place, great imaging, because I called the surgeon. I said, I'm paying for this myself. Where'd I go? And they told me Heartland Imaging on the Shelbyville Road. I went there, and for $350, I said, I need it from my butt to my head, okay? And they did a full MRI of my whole spine, which, praise God, they did my whole body.
Yeah.
They said, by the way, you don't have any tumors.
Checked.
I was like, oh, I didn't know we were going to look for that, but I'm glad I don't. So thanks for the heads up. Anyway, yeah, it's a great alternative for people. That's very, very, very affordable compared to traditional healthcare. But they can be affordable. Why? Because you do cash pay and you get 70 to 80% off.
It really just shows how insanely broken the health care insurance market is.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, with our first, we paid, we paid an insane amount for Cobra because we were
Because we didn't want to
like 6 or
switch
7 months through the
situations in
pregnancy
the
when he
middle of a
left the job,
pregnancy.
and we were like, we'll just stay with it till we have the baby. We've already squared away everything, and you still pay thousands out of pocket after the birth.
Pre-COVID insurance, paying both employer and employee side on a non-family plan, because at the time it was only employee spouse, we were dropping $900 a month. And then still paid $2,000 out of pocket after the baby was born.
It might have been 2 to 3, yeah. Then with Christian Healthcare Ministries, which first, I'm trying to remember, because now there's a bit of a deductible. But like when we first joined, I don't even know if there was like a deductible. It was like if it was more than $500, they just paid it basically. And so like we paid
It was
the first
$500.
Yeah. We paid the first $500 for everything for our other 2 children, I think what it was before.
And then
we
they
did
just
deductible.
paid it off.
And they paid everything. And I was just like, how can you get any better than that?
You can't, Ruth Ann. I'm glad we brought this up in case any listeners or viewers, or because health insurance is a real, it's a pain point for a lot of people. And so my employees, I pay for them to have their health insurance, and I pay for them to have a Christian health care. I can't deduct it, and that's another whole IRS story. But it's so much less expensive that if I paid for Anthem, the write-off would, it wouldn't matter. But some people do need traditional health care if they have mental health needs. That's something that the Christian Healthcare Ministries does not take care of.
That's fair.
And so it's good to know before you go into it what it is. But for a person that's pretty healthy, all in all, can't beat it. So can I tell you about the project we're working on?
Yeah, please
It's
do.
a giant yacht company.
Nice.
And the gentleman is getting financing for $750 million.
$750 million.
That's a big loan. And
how much inventory is that? Like 3?
that's funny.
It's 1.
He's buying a fleet of super yachts. They're between 50 and 75 million.
Yeah.
With a crew of 10 to 12 on each one.
Wow.
And then he's going to have 2 aircrafts and 2 submarines. And
for each one, or for
No,
the fleet?
no,
Okay,
so,
I was like, for each yacht.
It's,
You also get a submarine.
anyway, he has a business model that's not been thought of yet, and I can't share that because he's not started his business up yet. It's genius, and his prime target candidates are people in their 30s. those that are inherited tons of money.
Yeah.
Or,
George Soros' son.
yeah. Or, movie stars, rock and roll,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So we're working on that. It's been a 2-year project.
That guy has an accountant, but if he doesn't, I want to do the books.
You can, if I tell him, he'll do it.
Yeah.
He's like that. Because I build these relationships with my customers, and they trust my opinion. And on that note, in our B&I group, we get to know each other, and we get to trust each other
every week.
Yeah, and I've been in the group for 8 or 9 years. And if there's somebody that comes in the group that I'm not sure about, I won't refer them.
Yeah.
If I'm not 100% sure that they have the appropriate insurance, I won't refer them to somebody. And I tell them, it's like, I don't have to be your insurance agent. I need to see your insurance policies, or I can't refer you.
Yeah.
Because if I do and something goes wrong, I have a saying. You remember? Everything's fine until
it's not.
Until there's not, right?
Yeah.
Everything's fine until there's a claim.
Right.
And so that's when you find out the coverages in the policy. And so I can't refer somebody unless I look at their insurance, and I won't.
Yeah.
And then also, I won't refer somebody unless I've used their business. And my point is in that group, we get to know each other. We trust each other. We basically vet each other in there.
Yeah.
Like, when I refer you to my best customer, that is a big referral.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've got you're now taking care of the son of one of my best customers. And then hopefully you'll be taking care of him too.
Maybe.
That was a big referral to shift your way. But that's how much confidence I have in you. You have sent me, you were my number one referral source in 2025.
Which confuses me.
Well,
like, I know you are probably one of the more common people I send people to, or maybe obviously the number one person I send people to, but it doesn't seem like I've sent you so much that I would be the number one.
You're the number one. Well, I mean, I get sprinkles really healthy from multiple people
Yeah.
In our group. But you've given me some really good clients, and we've been able to land and gotten some good paybacks from it. The restaurant was really well, and we did well there. So the referrals I get are usually kind of small.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not including the ones I insure in the group.
Yeah.
Right Mechanical is a big client of mine, really good clients. So anyway, I love what I do, and once again, thank you for sending me clients. I'll continue sending you clients because it's a matter of trust and confidence in each other. We're all human. There's mistakes, but if I make a mistake, I'm going to be the first one to stand up. Like my pastor says, one of my pastors just said, if you ever lay an egg, just stand back and admire it. So if we make an error, we're going to maybe not admire it, but we're going to take care of business. We do have a lot of moving parts in our industry, but we have a triple check system in our agency on new quotes. I completely trust everybody in there to do their best, but we make errors.
Yeah.
And so when one of my people get done with their quote, they send it to somebody else to review. Then we review it with the client.
Nice.
So it's 3 touches to make sure everything is as right as we can get it. So we've found that to be very successful in eliminating errors. So.
Yeah, I know. I mean, on the bookkeeping side, there's like so much data that you're constantly putting into all kinds of clients' books every day that, clerical errors happen.
Yeah.
And so, we take ownership of that. We're like, it's okay. We can fix it. That's like what I like about bookkeeping is how easy it is to fix. Most of the time, an error for bookkeeping has a low threshold or it has low impact. It's not, you catch it early. It's no big deal. The tax return probably hasn't even been filed. It's just like 60 days later, you look at the report and you're like, oh, yeah, that should be over here. There you go.
That's
Versus
fantastic.
like if you file somebody's tax return and there's something wrong, it's like, now you got to file an amended return.
Yeah.
And then you got to do this, then you got to do that. And then it's like,
Yeah.
I like that the lower stakes is typically the most dramatic thing that can happen is with payroll. It's like somebody didn't get paid the right amount. Their raise didn't get initiated. It's been 3 months. We got to pay them a couple thousand now to catch up. And it's like, okay, sorry about that.
So I'm going to, at least from my end, and you can have as many questions as you want, but I'm going to wrap up on what our agency does.
Yeah.
So we have, I said 5.5, 5 full-time, 1 part-time. Internally, we have 5 agents externally. I'm interviewing 3 right now, agents. And we are very, we've been talking about commercial insurance. Our agency handles, personal insurance for home and autos, making sure they got the right protection and umbrellas. We do disability, life insurance. I actually have a lady that's full-time and all she does is Medicare supplements. And so, when people are getting to 64 years old, they're kind of like, what's my insurance going to look like?
Yeah.
Or one of my clients is a general surgeon. He called me today. He said, Joe, he's 78. He said, I'm retiring in a month. And my insurance is not going to, I'm not going to have insurance with my employer anymore. And I said, well, it's time to get on Medicare supplement then, Joe. And he said, well, I don't want it to be expensive. And, only health problem I got. I said, hold on. I said, slow your roll, Joe. I said, you currently have insurance. You don't have to prove insurability to go over to Medicaid supplement. You're going to be on A and B through the government, and which you already are. And I said, it'll pivot right over. We'll get you a supplement, and you're good to go. But I've got a lady that does that because it can be a pretty big forest, especially if you don't do it for a living, and especially if you're scared. You've always had traditional health care insurance, and you're like, okay, how does this work? What does this look like? What's the Advantage plan compared to the traditional Medicare supplement? 2 different animals. Which is the best vehicle for now and later? And if I pick one, and if I don't like it, can I go to the other one? So there's a lot of questions. The answers are actually simple, but they can be so complicated looking, okay? Especially if you talk to 2 or 3 people, then you're hearing 2 or 3 different things, typically. So we've got somebody that specializes in that. I specialize in the life insurance aspect of my agency, dealing with younger people or even people thinking about retirement or people looking into long-term care, like, hey, what if I get into a nursing home one day? That's about 12, 14 grand a month. How am I going to pay for that?
Yeah.
There's 2 ways. One, get a long-term care policy. If you do, and you go into a nursing home and you meet their qualifications, you can't do 6 of the 8 things required in daily living, like dressing yourself, feeding yourself, getting out of the bed, going to the bathroom, walking. There's 8, and I don't know them all by heart. But if you can't do 2, that's right. If you can't do 2 of them, you qualify. So
I was say, dang, 6 is a lot.
Yeah, 6 is a lot. Yeah,
that's a big threshold.
Anyway, yeah, you're right. It's 2. If you can't do 2 of those things, you qualify for long-term care. But if you got a traditional long-term care policy, you have to qualify, and then you have to send them receipts. And then they will pay the institution that's taking care of you. Life insurance has come a long way. There's a life insurance policy people can get. Let's say I've got a $800,000 policy. Let me use a client of mine. This is a real one. And not everybody has her money. A person can pay monthly, whatever. She was 65 when she came to me. She said, I have no long-term care. Husband passed away. I've got some money. I need long-term care. I gave her the quote for long-term care. It was $600 and something. And she still had to qualify for it, like get underwriting for her health. And it could increase in price.
Right.
I said, hold on, let me check. I've got another solution maybe. So I called one of my life insurance companies. They sent me a quote. I said, you can get a $700,000 policy, and it's $500 and something a month, a little bit less than the long-term care. I knew her situation. I said, or you can write a check out for $250,000 and have a policy paid for life. The $250,000 check you give me, it immediately turns into a $700,000 benefit for your beneficiaries, tax-free. So she took $250 and greatly increased her children's I can't think of the word.
Yeah, what
the other wealth.
Their inheritance.
Their inheritance. Thank you. So her estate. That's the word I was looking for. So she took $250 and increased her estate to $700 on this $250 because she's got other assets. But that's the first positive thing. Second, you pick the beneficiaries; they get it tax free. Third, if she ever goes into a nursing home, that policy will pay 2% of the face amount per month. $700,000, $14,000 a month for her nursing home. And it just ticks down off of that $700,000, pulls away from the face amount. The beautiful thing is she doesn't, they're sending her the money.
Yeah.
She can have somebody come in her house. She could tell her daughter, hey, I'll pay you this much money. Or a family member, anybody she wants. She gets control over that. So in her elderly years, if she needs care in her home, her life insurance policy can pay for it. If you get a long-term care policy, are you going to use it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you spend all that money, and if you don't use it, it's gone. But if you got a life insurance policy that will also take care of that, you're guaranteed either your children are going to inherit that money through the form of life insurance, or if you need it, that money is there to take care of you. Phenomenal product.
That was a good one.
Yeah. And it also, she put so much money into it, it pays her $20,000 a year tax-free income for the rest of her life, along with those benefits.
Yeah.
So it's life insurance the good products have some fluidity. Mm-hmm. And if somebody's got a little bit of money,
they can do some fancy stuff.
Yeah, we can have a lot of fun with that computer designing a really awesome policy for them. Because it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful tool for the right person. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's buy-sell agreements, business owners, we get life insurance policies for them. If one of them die, the life insurance policy will pay off the other business partner's wife or husband, depending. And that way, if I've got a business partner and he passes away, I might not want to have his wife as a business partner because maybe she hates insurance, okay? And it's not going to work out good. That way, that life insurance policy pays that spouse and the business is mine. So there's a lot of different solutions with life insurance. I just want to bring that up too. Some people just don't think about those types of solutions.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the best things that ever happened to me as far as like understanding like life, even like the thought of life insurance or like finances was when we were like maybe dating or engaged. I accidentally stumbled across Dave Ramsey. And I know he can be like, people have their thoughts, whatever. But I was like, I didn't even understand how credit cards worked because like my parents didn't have credit cards growing up. So I was just like, I don't even know what you do, like what this is. And so Dave really stresses life insurance. And so when Aaron and I got married, I was like, I know it's just us, which obviously that didn't last long. But I was like, we need life insurance. But something that I didn't even think of either, which Dave talks about, is having life insurance on me.
Yeah.
I don't work. I'm a stay-at-home mom. But if something were to happen to me, who's going to take care of our 4 soon-to-be 5 kids?
Right.
You have to think about those expenses.
My
and
mom's
it's like
becoming a mom again.
But
if she's able.
If she's able.
And with each child, not with each child, but like as we've had more children, I've been like, we should probably up our policy because, if something happened to you and I'm a single mom with 5 kids, I don't necessarily want to go work right now while they're so young. And so So I didn't even like know what life
It sounds
insurance
like
was.
you're
know?
right,
So,
Ruth Ann. You're bringing up such a positive and such an accurate point. Like in your situation, and this sounds like a lot of money, but it really isn't. You're going to need at least $1 million. Mm-hmm. And they're like, "What? Yes, $1 million. Invest it, and then the percentage, the money coming from that million from the investment, that's your living. You keep that money into some type of money-making machine, whether it's an annuity or whether it's an investment conservatively, and it's printing money for you to raise the kids, and it never goes away.
Yeah.
Too many people get their life insurance. Let's pay off the house. Let's pay off the car.
Yeah.
Let's pay off this, and all of a sudden
like,
we don't have any more
I got to
money.
raise kids for the next 18 years. You know,
Right.
like,
You need money. You're
Yeah.
right. And on your point, a close friend of mine, his lovely wife went to be with the Lord, and he had their 3 children. And they're very close to me at our church. And there wasn't much life insurance. And so there wasn't money to pay for somebody to watch the kids, single dad, around 8, 10, and 12. And that was, to watch that, by the way, those kids are beautiful young adults now. One of them's engaged or in college, but it all worked out. But boy, it was a whole lot of pressure on my friend and the kids. It's just a lot of pressure. So that's a really, really good point. Both spouses need life insurance.
Yeah.
So good points.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love talking about the Lord and insurance in that order.
There we go.
One more thing about me.
Yeah. Tell us, please. This is about you.
Yeah. I'm married. My lovely wife, Laura, we're in our 16th year of marriage. I prayed to the Lord and I said, Lord, I'd love to have a wife, but I just asked, Lord, that I would be picky and that she would love you at least as much or more than I do. And that on Sunday mornings and Bible studies on Wednesdays, it isn't, are we getting up? It's, let's hurry up and get ready. Yeah. It's time to go. It isn't a question. It's more important than getting up and going to work. And I prayed for that, and he brought me that lady. So, yeah, sometimes she has to say, hey, get up. Here's your coffee. It's time to go to church. I'm like, yes, honey. And but of course I'd get up, but I like to wait till the last minute sometime. Sunday's the only day I can sleep past 7:30.
Yeah.
So, because I got something on Saturdays. But anyhow, and then we are a blended family, and I have 3 kids, and my wife, she has 2, so we have 5, and they're all adults, and they've all moved out. But life can throw some curveballs, and through different things. We live in a fallen world, and God knows that. Jesus Christ walked this fallen world, and he tasted dust, sweat, and he lost a very good friend of his, Lazarus, and he's seen the pain and the agony and the grief of friends around him. And he lost his dad at some point. He experienced that grief with him and his mom. And so to know that our Lord and Savior has felt the difficulties that we face in life, whatever they may be, should give us all great comfort in knowing that he, loved us so much that he laid his life down for us, for the forgiveness of our sins. And so I just wanted to leave that with everybody, that the Prince of Peace loves you, and he gave his life for you. And if you don't know him, I hope that you'll contact Aaron or myself or somebody, and we'd love to share more with you about that.
Amen. Yeah. There we go.
Perfect way to end it.
All right, here we go.
Thank you.